skyline of Manhattan. And there is the world number one, Pete Sampras. He won his first Grand Slam here in 1990 at the age of 19, and now trying to tie Roy Emerson's record by winning his 12th. 3 titles in 1998. That, of course, includes Wimbledon. 55 career titles for Pete Sampras. And there you see 4-time U.S. Open champion. Won his 5th Wimbledon title this year, tying him with Bjorn Borg for the most in the Open era. And there is Marc-Kevin Goellner, 27-year-old, who's actually of German heritage, born in Brazil, now lives in London, ranked number 109, and has not been playing especially well of late. He's lost in the first round in 5 of his last 6 events. Playing in his 6th U.S. Open. He's made the 3rd round twice, 1993 and 1994. In fact, his best Grand Slam result came at Roland Garros, where he made it to the round of 16. But he does possess a big serve. They've met once before at Queens, and you can see that final set went 13-11.
1 minute. 1 minute.
But all eyes on this man, Pete Sampras. And there's a look at that very impressive resume. Of course, the French, the only Grand Slam to elude Pete Sampras. In 1990, he became the youngest U.S. Open men's champion ever. 19 years, 28 days. Beat Andre Agassi in that All-American final. Straight set, 6-4, 6-3, 6-2. And as we've mentioned earlier, Pete Sampras has a very difficult portion of the draw. Andre Agassi and Patrick Rafter await Pete Sampras, but most people think he's got a pretty easy road to the quarterfinals, and you can see people arriving here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Such a marvelous facility. A little bit later, the women's number 1, Martina Hingis, will be in action here. It's always so exciting and so much going on the first day of any Grand Slam event. And we will endeavor to keep you up to date on all of the matches going on around the grounds.
All right, Bill, that's enough talking. Okay.
Where have you been?
Bill, I'll tell you, I was getting worried there for a second.
Making your way from Stadium 2?
And we'll be back after these messages. I got to practice my play-by-play now.
First set, Pete Sampras to serve.
Now Pete Sampras will serve to start the match.
What's happening? You doing all right?
Yeah, he sounded good over there with Ted. Thomas Muster, Alberto Berasategui match.
Love 15.
Sampras looking to get the butterflies out. Quickly double faults. I'll tell you, it's going to be tough to break his serve. Just like we watch Ivanisevic, this court is playing fast, and it is going to be a bummer for the returner, unless he throws in a ton of double faults.
Who are the guys that would favor? Sampras, Ivanisevic, Rafter?
Philippoussis. Rafter's not as big a server, but a better volleyer than those. The problem for Sampras is he's well aware that the courts are quicker. He feels he can hold serve on a slower court, so he's concerned about returning. I mean, a guy like Goellner, this is a 1 in a million shot, but he's got a pretty big game. He can't be dangerous. Pete should rout Goellner, in all honesty. first-round match, as you saw from Ivan Izovic's results here. 4 first rounds in a semi his last 5 years, unpredictable. And the good news, Bill, is that the #1 ranking on both the men and the women's side is up for grabs here. So that makes it a lot more exciting.
Of course, Pete Sampras has been going back and forth with Marcelo Rios at #1 and 2 most of the year.
I don't think there's any question in the players' minds that Sampras is #1 at the moment, because when push has come to shove, Rios has not stepped up and done it when he's needed to, when he reached #1. Flick forehand winner from Goellner. Has always had a dangerous forehand.
30-all.
Goellner with the chance here at 30-all. This is, he's not going to get a whole lot better than this.
40.
Sampras says no thank you. Takes something off that serve. Ace out wide.
First ace. That was 109 miles an hour on the IBM speed gun.
And Sampras.
Second ace for Pete Sampras, and he holds to start the match. Bill McAtee, John McEnroe, good to have you with us. Day 1 of the Open. Good to be with you once again.
I feel great. I tell you, the fact that things are up for grabs here, it's quite exciting. I think something's going to happen this next couple of weeks. It's time to turn things around for the sport, and I think this is a perfect place to start. I feel something's going to happen this year.
For Pete Sampras in particular, is it difficult for him not to look forward to next week with Agassi?
He's been around too long to worry about, to think ahead. Everyone's hoping Wednesday night, the second week, Agassi, Sampras. The likelihood is it's going to happen. Both players are playing quite well, and I'd be quite surprised if those 2 players don't reach the quarterfinals. But he's been around a long time. He knows, look, got to take care of business, and he will, in my opinion, take care of business.
What about Andre Agassi?
Agassi's come a long way. He said himself, he just got interviewed. He knows he's got a little bit farther to go. He'd absolutely love and cherish the chance to do it right here, to pick it up that 1 more level. He's going to need to, because this court's playing fast. It's going to be awfully tough when he plays Pete in the quarters.
Who are the other guys that might be dangerous next week?
Well,
should they get into next week?
The guys like Ivan Izovich, it's a little different. In the past when the courts were slower, you could argue one of the clay court players could do something. Now it's going to be like the unpredictable guys, Ruzetsky, totally unpredictable right now. Ivan Izovich, Philippoussis perhaps. Pete Sampras is obviously a predictable contender. He's going to be awful tough to beat on this court. Guys that will be hurt, Bill, will be guys like Rios, who's #1 doesn't have any confidence coming in, and I guarantee you #2 that he's not liking the speed of this court.
Goellner with tonight's winner. It's interesting that Marcelo Rios became #1 after winning a tournament on hard court down at Key Biscayne. He beat Andre Agassi.
Guarantee you that court was 30 to 40% slower than this court is playing right now. A totally different game. Ball bouncing a lot higher. This ball is going to skid through the court.
First ace for Goellner, 30 love.
Will this court be too fast for a Courageous to even contend, or a Moya?
40 love.
I think it's going to take Pete a matter of time to get the feel for this serve. Goellner does hit a big ball, goes for a lot on his shots, will make a lot of errors, but you can see right now that Pete's just trying to get the feel here. Delayed but correct call. Goellner holds serve to 1-all. Here's an example, though. I must say, I got to point this out. Now, here's a guy who finished last year at 951 in the world, was 23 and 35. I mean, that's just should not be happening. That should tell you right off the bat that the ranking system's wrong. And he sure isn't going to scare Sampras coming in at 8 and 21 for the year.
Goellner actually got up to 26 in the world. That was in April of 1994.
Actually spent quite a bit of time early years of his life in Brazil. But I'll stop talking because God knows we don't want to miss this website, Pop.
There it is. If you want to get updated on the U.S. Open, visit us at www.usanetwork.com.
See that backhand, when he lets it kick, he lets it come to him instead of going after. He's always had problems with that, sticking that elbow out too far. Far more dangerous on that forehand side.
Pete obviously playing for a place in history.
Well, he's there already. He's looking to get the Lavers League, which is he's out there by himself at 2 Grand Slams. Pete is the notch below that, and what he would do would be he'd get by Emerson, but everyone knows that he's already by him really in effect anyway. Because Emerson played a lot of years where a lot of the top guys didn't play. Not to take anything away from the achievement, but I guess I just did.
Game Sampras.
Love game from Sampras on serve, 2-1, first set.
Sampras leads by 2 games to 1.
And welcome back to USA's coverage of the 98 U.S. Open. I'm Bill Patrick. Welcome back. Now let's head out to court 11. Barry McKay and David Mercer and Gustavo Kuerten.
Yes, thanks very much, Bill. It looks as if Gustavo Kuerten at the far end, problems are over. Remember, the French Open champion of last year lost the first set to the qualifier, known from Israel. But Kuerten now leading 2-1 and 5-3. Beer serving to stay in the match, but he's up 30 love.
Well, he was up 30 love. 30-15, a little double fault there from the tall youngster from Tel Aviv. I love the way Kuerten plays. He goes for shots, David, and he gets through the ball extremely well. See if he can finish this off here with a service break.
Oh, it's good counter-attacking by Beer.
14-15.
Fine approach by Kuerten. Hadn't taken anything off the shot, and Beer met it power for power. Rank 261. He'll be a lot higher as a result of having come through the qualifying. So Beer holds. But when you rejoin us, Gustavo Kuerten will be serving for the match at 5-4 in the fourth.
The U.S. Open on USA is brought to you by 100% Colombian coffee. Look for this symbol to find the richest coffee in the world. And by Travelers Property Casualty and Travelers Life and Annuity.
Great to have you with us on day one of the U.S. Open. We're out on court 11. Big crowd out here watching the French Open champion of last year, Gustavo Kuerten, the Brazilian in the national colours, serving for the match against Beer. 5-4. 30 love, 2 points needed.
Gets caught there, David. Good return.
13-15.
Solid return. I like Kuerten's serve. It's a little mechanical, but he is able to crack that first serve very flat. He uses it as a weapon. Even was able to do that at the French.
He's had 16 aces today, Kuerten.
Well, as John McEnroe said, these courts are playing much faster.
Well, hour and 59 according to the official Citizen Watch Time clock, and it's 2 match points. And Gustavo Kuerten comes through, a bit of a struggle in the early stages, but the Brazilian fans didn't have too much to cheer about in soccer's World Cup this year, but they're here supporting their man, and he's through in 4 sets.
Well, he got a bit of a wake-up call in that first set. unknown player. I think he probably wasn't ready to start quickly, and a very slow start for Kjartan, but he really cranked it up, David. As you said, he started to serve extremely well. That's a lot of aces for Gustavo Kjartan.
So that's the situation out on court 11, back on the Arthur Ashe Stadium, Stadium 1. Just getting going there is Pete Sampras against Marc-Kevin Goellner, watching John McEnroe, Bill McAtee.
David and Barry, thank you very much. John, that's one of the great things about this early part of a Grand Slam. You have a guy like Noam Beer from Israel, never even played in a regular tour event, and he takes a set off a French Open champion.
Well, in effect, Kjartan doesn't have a great deal of experience either. Certainly that French Open. Beyond that, the last year or so, he's been getting more and more experience, now settling in the 20s. Pete Sampras, that big forehand winner there to deuce, has had a break point. Long game here at 1-2. Goellner serving. It's tough for Brazil. David Mercer said they didn't have much to cheer about. They get to the finals. You're a complete loser if you get to the finals. But we're here to tell you that's not true. Just clips the top of the tape there. You could taste that winner. Goellner was not there. As an ad to hold level at 2-all. That was a good example of the speed of the court, though. There's less granules on in the court itself, so that's going to make it skid a little bit more, and there's less layers of cement. So that's why the court is playing faster. Enough of these clay quarters with the high balls kicking up on the Americans. That's a low percentage shot. I mean, his feet were way away from that ball. He just basically completely butchered that. And he can't afford that. He doesn't want Sampras. Take a look at this. He's not close enough to the ball. He took a big, wide step. That's exactly what you don't want to do. And Sampras once again clips the top of the tape on a backhand pass. Goellner did a lot better on that volley. Got down nicely for that forehand.
Well, Sampras made him work, but Goellner holds for 2-all.
2 games all.
Sampras just biding his time. He knows that if he keeps this up, he'll get his chances. Hold easily, keep the pressure on the German. And you better believe you'll see some breaks. 2-all now.
On average, how long does it take to get to know a court? You mentioned the speed of this court faster than other hard courts.
Well, Pete didn't play last week, so he's been practicing here, so he's already fully aware of it. It doesn't take too long, you know, a day or two. You give yourself some solid practice. But, you know, these surroundings are so big, the stadium, that takes a bit of time. A little awkward when you see empty seats and people in other seats, but this is something that players have dealt with before.
15-all.
Sampras sweating quite a bit. It's not real hot, not in bad conditions right now, but his hand gets wet, that racket's going to slip out of your hand.
Second double fault, 15-all.
Some people like to use sawdust. Pete prefers to just wipe it on his shirt. Figures I can hit a big serve even my hand is slipping on me. 5.5 years now and counting so far for Pete Sampras at #1 ranking in the world. And if he were to win here, Bill, he will be the #1 ranked player in the world for 1998 as well. Wimbledon and the Open will do it for you. Boy, take that. Mitz hits that back and looked like it might drop wide, but gets the call. And you look at it like this, he deserved to win the point. So he shouldn't have made it or cut it that close, but gets the call, 45.
Oh, I thought that was long.
Well, the good news for Peter's 45. So 15-40, he wouldn't have let that ball go. with a serve like he's got, you can afford to sort of feel things out a little bit. Watch what happens here.
And Sampras.
Good call. Third ace. Sampras holds on serve, 3-2. From USA Pictures, he's a walking time bomb, but if you need protection, you can always bet on Jack. Dolph Lundgren is Blackjack, a USA Pictures original premiering on September 15th on USA Network. As we welcome you back to the USTA National Tennis Center here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Marc Goellner serving 15 love and 2-3 in the first set against Pete Sampras.
Pete caught that ball off center, broke the string. What happens when you string as tight as Pete does? You know, we've seen this before. Usually breaks at least 2 or 3 in a match. But he's got plenty of others. He's probably got 7 or 8 other ones strung exactly the same tension. And most of the time he'll get his coach, Paul Anacone, to run to the stringer and get that one redone. So he could play 30 sets. You win 11 majors. You can afford these type of things. Goes through about 600 sets of gut a year. I think he strings well into the 70s. Only guy I ever heard string higher with Gord. Strung in the 80s. That's Goellner's third ace. Up 40 love, looking to level 3 all first set. Hanging tough so far.
Fourth ace. Goellner holds it love. And we're level at 3. Now Pete Sampras is one of only 3 players in the Open era to have won Wimbledon and the U.S. Open back-to-back. The other 2, Jimmy Connors and this other guy who won in 81 and 84.
Keep throwing me those phones.
Nice touch.
No problem there. There's an example that you don't have to hit every ball hard. Pete just placed that ball nice and deep. You see this first volley. Goellner's on the run. Wide open court, easy shot. We also notice Goellner has big changes on the grip, which takes a little time, and he's not going to get a lot of time with Sampras. So that's why I always thought as kids starting, it's better to play with one grip. Try to find that middle ground where you don't have to switch around. It's too complicated. That's beautiful right there. What's even better is you see him serving Vaughn on the second serve, because I'll tell you, these courts are quick enough where he can do that. He does it all the time at Wimbledon. His record's not too bad over there. And these courts are quick enough. If he chooses to do it, he would be extremely difficult to break. And another thing that's improved over the years for Pete is his touch. Excellent drop volley there.
40-15.
Third double fault.
You notice where he's playing his bad points, though. 40 love up, 40-15. Still struggling a little bit with the sun. This is a little tricky for righties now, between 1 and 3 on that side. He's going to struggle a little bit with his toss. Apparently they haven't put that retractable roof on yet here. Maybe that's next year.
Well, steady, workmanlike effort from Pete Sampras on serve, first set. It is day 1 of the 1998 U.S. Open, and the great green Fujifilm blimp is up above to bring us a blimp's eye view of all the action at the USTA National Tennis Center.
The good old Fuji blimp back again.
There it is. It's a beautiful day to be here in New York and here at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Pete Sampras 4-3, but on serve against Marc-Kevin Goellner.
Here's where he better pull it together right now. 3-4, love 30 now. This is, you better believe Sampras is going to put the pressure on right now, looking for the break and put this first set away. See, that's too difficult a shot at love 30. He's not really comfortable serving in volley. He's one of those, like most players out in the men's circuit, likes to hit the big serve, stay back, and hit the big forehand. Well, guess what? Love 40 now.
3 break chances for Sampras.
Horrible game there, Bill. That took about 50 seconds. Pete says thanks a lot. 5-3.
So with a whimper. And now Pete Sampras has a chance to serve out this first set.
Bob Bryan struggling, but wins the third set. NCAA champion, down 2-1 against the South African Andruska. Martin Dam up a couple sets on the Dutchman, Sven Schalken. A lot of tennis out there. We're going to move around quite a bit today. Justin Gimelstoff, high-energy player. Good-looking draw. He plays Muska if he gets by second round. That'll be a good section for him. Serena Williams out there battling. Looking to bump Spurley in the third round again.
We're going to check in on that match in just a bit. First U.S. Open in the main draw for Serena Williams, who comes in ranked 20th in the world.
By the way, you notice a pretty good difference between the #1 and 100 guy in the world, okay? Horrific game at 3-4. Look at that serve. And Sampras quickly to triple set point. How's that for a shot?
Winning the first set at love. Pete Sampras, 28 minutes. 6-3. Sampras off to a great start at Arthur Ashe Stadium.
Bill Patrick here, welcoming you back to our coverage of the '98 U.S. Open. Don't forget tonight, Monica Seles is in action. Andre Agassi as well, 2 former champs here at the USTA National Tennis Center, the U.S. Open. Right now, let's get a peek at young Serena Williams. We throw it out to Ted Robinson and Tracy Austin.
Thanks, Bill. We're here in Stadium 2, where Serena Williams is serving for the first set. It's her first singles match in the U.S. Open. And she's taking on Australian Nicole Pratt. And Tracy, Serena Williams showing us, I guess, a little bit of what we expect. Great athleticism and very young.
Very young, a little bit nervous in the first few games. She got broken in the third game, made too many unforced errors, but you can expect that in her first Grand Slam here at the U.S. Open. She's starting to find her form a little bit more, serving and volleying, taking some risks. Nicole Pratt, number 94 in the world, is a perfect player for Serena to play in the first round. She doesn't have a lot of weapons, gets a lot of balls back, is a scrappy fighter, but gives Serena a lot of balls to hit, get those nerves out of her system.
That's the second ace for Serena Williams here in the first set. Nicole Pratt looks like Muggsy Bogues to Serena's Karl Malone when they cross over at the chair.
She's 5'4". Serena's about 5'10". She said that she thinks she's still growing a little bit, though.
Well, it's been a remarkable year for Serena Williams. She didn't play in a main draw tour event until after the U.S. Open last year, and in slightly less than a year, Tracy, she's number 20 in the world.
Absolutely an incredible rise. She was somewhere in the 400s last October, and then beat Mary Pierce and Monica Seles in Chicago. Really raised her ranking up. Had some incredible results. Now 20 in the world and rising quickly.
So while her big sis made it to the finals last year and grabbed all the headlines, Serena Williams, a rival at the U.S. Open this year. The family hopes will be something special. She has taken the first set here over Nicole Pratt, 6 games to 3. Louis Armstrong Stadium, now known as Stadium 2. The top deck is off this year, and it's become a much better, more intimate, cozy tennis setting. And here, Nicole Pratt, 25-year-old Aussie, who is only playing in her second main draw U.S. Open, serving the first game of the second set. Talk about perseverance, Tracy. She tried to qualify and failed 6 straight years.
And then finally qualified last year on her 7th try. You got to give her all the credit in the world. And that's exactly her style of play. Scrappy fighter, not a lot of huge weapons. She's 25 years old, been playing in Grand Slam since 1990. Has been around a long, long time. Never been in the top 50. And the reason that she's never been in the top 50 is she really doesn't have a big weapon, not a big serve. Groundies are very steady, very consistent, runs well, but doesn't have the huge serve like this woman right here does, Serena Williams, and also the big forehand.
40-15.
The rise for Serena Williams since last October has just been incredible as her older sister Venus looks on. Very close sisters, and actually I think Serena, traveling with Venus last year, watching her, being at the U.S. Open when Venus made her final run, I think really helped Serena. No, she didn't play. She was getting experience of being around the circuit, learning from Venus.
Game time. First game, 7 seconds.
So a service break for Nicole Pratt. Starts the second set.
Double break point for Pete Sampras, and he's got a second serve. So John McEnroe, Pete Sampras already up a set. Now with the break here early in the second.
Well, you can see who's more comfortable on the hard courts. Sampras has done that since he was a kid. Goellner growing up on the clay in Brazil and playing like he's confused right now. But then again, you know, most players, in all honesty, do get confused when you play someone this good. It's very difficult to even play up to your level. Occasionally you see guys play out of their head. If, say, a guy like Sampras is having a bad day, but when Pete's on and he seems to have settled in, most guys come down. They just can't handle that, that level.
Well, while we've got a moment, let's check in with Michael Barkan. Michael?
And sitting next to me, Bill, is not a mannequin. This is really Kim Cattrall, star of Mannequin, star of Bonfire of the Vanities, and currently starring in Sex and the City as Samantha. Would Samantha come to a tennis match?
Oh, definitely. She loves to watch men bat balls around.
Bill, back to you. No, do you like to watch tennis yourself?
Oh, yes, I do. I enjoy it very much. I mean, there's advantages to sort of sitting in your home with a nice sort of glass of iced tea, but to be here is really, really exciting. You get much more emotionally involved, at least I do.
It's tough for you to watch a match, isn't it?
It is, especially for the underdog. I mean, here we have a player who's come here at 21 and he's playing Pete Sampras. That's ball. Cool. I mean, tennis ball.
I mean, it's cable, but you know, we're not on a delay. You know what I'm saying? What are you working on now?
I'm doing this film right now with Treat Williams for TNT called Let's Miss Town, and I have 3 days off, so I thought I'd come to the U.S. Open.
And you're filming and taping Sex and the City in the city?
Yes, right in New York City. Actually, I've moved to New York City. I'm having such a good time.
Glad you joined us today. Thanks, Kim. Kim Cattrall. Bill, John?
All right, Michael, thank you very much. Sampras serving 2-1 in the second set and 15 all.
Doesn't take a whole lot of our commentary work, but I can't blame her for wanting to be out here. There was a better energy. Pete was looking to do this now famous scissor kick overhead. Didn't need to, ball well long. Pretty much just what we'd expect right here. taking advantage of the chances that will be given to him. One break first set, now up a break here at 2-1. That's the best backhand he's hit today. High-risk shot. He's about 6 feet behind the baseline, and he's going to have to hit an awful good return from there to put Sampras in trouble, which he does. He's hitting off his back foot. Thank God they have graphite rackets now. Could not get away with that with wood. By the way, Marc Goellner is 27, about to be 28 in September. Not quite 21. Well left by Sampras there.
40-50.
But he only looks about 21.
There's been so much speculation from people about who can threaten Pete Sampras. You never know, though, who it's going to come from. I mean, a year ago, it was Peter Korda.
Well, Peter Korda is one of the best hitters in the game, without question. One of the best hitters I've seen in the last 10, 15 years.
Seventh ace from Sampras.
Marc Goellner is no Peter Korda.
Sampras leads by 3 games to 1.
Well, the names we've heard, Andre Agassi, Patrick Rafter, who are the people that Sampras does not want to see along the way?
I'll tell you, I'll tell you one guy would be Ivan Izevich. He's because everyone expects him to beat him, because Goran's history here has been subpar. But on this surface, Pete Sampras doesn't like playing on these fast hard courts against the Ruzetsky, Ivan Izevich type of guy. He loves shots like that. That ball was going out. He hit it anyway. Little flare never hurt anyone. This is Pete Sampras' draw. Remember, Beresitegi was the seed. He's already out. To be perfectly honest, I don't see anyone hurting him until the quarters. Safin is who we saw at the French Open, lurking around there. Not the same player on hard courts. He's actually had 9 out of 10 first-round losses until last week. Got to the semis. Looks to be picking it up a little, but I can't imagine him beating the Sampras on hard courts. But I think you may see, if he gets his act together, him or possibly Gimelstob, if he can play up to his ability. Muster would be the other choice if he can get a little more consistent. There's another string. Perhaps not. Perhaps he just hit the racket on the ground. Goellner with a good inside-out forehand. 30-15 at 1-3. Top half loaded with some big hitters.
Well, a good look at Arthur Ashe Stadium. Slowly filling up as the day progresses.
Got Sampras, Agassi, Rafter, even Izevich, Ruzetsky for starters on the top half.
For starters. That's a frightening way to look at it.
3 games to 2.
Back with more at the Open on USA in a moment.
A gorgeous day here at the USTA National Tennis Center, Flushing Meadows, New York. And USA's coverage of the first round of the 98 U.S. Open continues. Right now, out of one of the outside courts, we send it down to the irrepressible David Mercer, who is with the irrepressible Justin Gimelstob.
Thanks, Bill. Yes, Gimelstob playing pretty well against Wayne Black from Zimbabwe. The near end. Strange match this. The score is 2-5 and deuce. Black serving at 2-5. We've had 5 service breaks. Indeed, Black hasn't held serve in the match so far. Gimelstob won the first 4 games with 2 breaks, obviously. We've had 4 successive breaks of serve. Justin Gimelstob from New Jersey. Also has a home now down in Key Biscayne in Florida. And Wayne Black from Harare in Zimbabwe. Very much a tennis playing family. Younger brother of Byron, and they have a sister Cara who's making her way very successfully on the women's tour for the first time this year. Yes, and Wayne Black lifts his arms to the sky as he finally manages to hold serve. And the Black family really are the bedrock of Zimbabwean tennis. Wayne and Byron in the Davis Cup, they beat Australia in Australia. Patrick Rafter and all in the first round this year. Then they lost to the Italians, who of course will play the United States next month. Kimmelstob must be coming into the reckoning, I would have thought, for the American team. Jim Courier, sadly, an arm injury means he can't play. Had to pull out of the Open as well. So Kimmelstob serving for the set for a second time. It's a fine pass, and that's really Black's strength. He's a counter-attacker.